there, and welcome back to the circle. I'm going to show you how to do wounds and bruises for any special effects that you might be needing, and obviously I'm also going to show the bruising associated with those wounding that might happen, and especially on the face, because I would like to show how different bruising on a face might be to doing a bruising on your arm and a leg, because the surfaces are quite different in structure, using some special effects ice and also the blood that I showed you how to make in the last video on our circle page. So hang on, and let's get the ball rolling on our bruises and our gashes. So this is the surface I'm going to do the wound on. I'm going to go up here, and it's just going to be an open wound, and what I'm going to be using is a scar wax that you can buy from Special Effects supplies, and just a couple of other items. So let's start. I'm also going to be using spirit gum. This is to stick the wax on the skin so it doesn't fall off. To remove the spirit gum, you need obviously a remover. I've got the actual spirit remover for it, and I'm going to be using the blood. With a clean knife, you get some of your wax out so you don't contaminate your material. First, put the gum on, if I can open it, just on the surface, so where you're going to stick the wax. Then you put your wax on, and then it's now time to mold it into the shape you want. So I've applied the wax on the line where I want the scar. It doesn't look much yet. You're going to take a sharp object, a tweezer or something, and crave a cannon in the middle. Next is basically you're going to up to black eyeshadow or something like that, just a matte finish one, or eyeliner, or you can actually use face paint. Go deep in the crevices to give it that depth. Doesn't look much, but that's your working base. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying the abrasion blood, which you can also buy from Special Effects shops. Basically that's the clotted blood. As you can see, it's a bit lumpy, so you can use that, lay it out. Next, what you can do is you can use the bruise kit and then build some scratches along that graze that you've got. I'm going to be using the red and a little bit of the purple. So here is what we have so far. We have the deep cut where you've obviously landed on your arm, along with the graze marks done with the bruise kit. We've got clotted blood to say that the wound's a little bit older, and now we're going to add the fresh blood. With the wounds that you see here, I haven't done it yet, but you can actually apply foundation before you do the bruising, so that the wax actually blends in with your skin. To apply that blood we made last week, this is a fresh batch. So you take a little bit and you place it in those crevices where the bleeding might happen. So you've got a cut here, pop that in, then you've got a cut here, pop that in, and we'll let gravity do the job once we tilt the hand. So there is a resulting wound from a fall that the person might have taken, and the hand might have gone grazing on the gravel. You've got an open wound that's still bleeding. Next up, bruising around the eye. So now that you know how to do a fairly evil looking wound with bleeding and bruising around the area according to the wound pattern that you're trying to stimulate, with just a few basics, you can still get the wound looking pretty real. Next I'm going to do some bruising around the eye. So you can see I'm going to do the bruising around here. The bruise I'm going to try and stimulate today is something that might have been caused from a bash of the head on the side. Now the bruising is going to be quite old looking, so I'm going to try and do it fairly deep, like the colours already come out. So for that I'm going to be using red, obviously, a hint of brown, purple to deepen that depth, and if I need to, in some parts of it, the blue to give it that deeper, more evil look. I like using my hand because it gives me a bit more control on how much and where I want to put the colours. Also use a rolling motion so you get kind of like an even distribution where you want the bruising to be. If I've hit the head on the side, I'm going to have bruising around the eye socket rather than you know, making it look like somebody's punched. So I'm going to have obviously the bruising around here and just a little bit on the inside. So as you can see, that's the basis of the bruise. The next colour I'm going to use is a little bit of the purple, and again I'm going to use it on the side where I'm going to need to deepen the effect. So it's going to be around the eye socket because that's where I'm indicating that the impact zone was. So just put a little bit on, and then obviously you can blend it later. As you can see, the purples deepen the red, and I've only put it on the parts where I want it to have the effect that that's where most of the blood clots happen. So most of the purple's gone up here, where obviously the bone structure is quite close, and then the tip of the jaw here, and obviously any fracture reaction that might have happened a bit further down the socket. So next one, what I'm going to do is a little bit of the brown, and just to give it a little bit more definition in those parts. I've finished with the bruise. I've dabbed a little bit of the blue just on the bone line here, and then the jaw here, and then just the inner side of the socket there. Same one, I've actually added a little bit of green and a little bit of blue, green and yellow, to make that same bruising look Asian. Where I put the green and yellow is mostly on the exterior of that bruising. Bruises usually start clearing out on the exterior side of the bruise, so on the outer side of the bruise, that's where they start disappearing first, and so therefore that's where they start going yellow and green first. If you wanted to deepen this look up, what you could do is, if you've got a bit of blue, matte, even eyeshadow, matte blue eyeshadow, you can dab more on the middle part of here. So the main bruising, where you've got main bruising, that's where you can add the blue to make the bruise look older. So that's it. That's today's little video on wounds that you can use on set and bruising that you can do easily on set. You do require a couple of items for purchase. You don't need a bruise master wheel, you know, as long as you've got the similar colours in eyeshadows, but in matte, not glittery, then you can still pull this look off. The only thing that you are going to need a little bit on doing the wounds is obviously some sort of a wax. And that's it. It's fairly simple, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Keep watching the circle.